Hey everybody, welcome back to the TEHNC podcast. I'm Jonathan. Today I want to talk a little bit about the Verge currency announcement. Verge is a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those of you who don't know, just real quickly, that is a digital currency that you can use online and spend online. Right now, currencies tend to be very volatile, but they're going to be adopted and they're growing fast. So Verge is actually noted as a privacy coin. Their whole goal is to enable financial privacy so that you can do financial transactions without having to share the information with a lot of other third parties like banks and the financial system and the government. Now, I should say right away, immediately when people talk about privacy in financial terms, they always think of the worst case scenario. Oh, that's for money laundering. And yes, every new technology can be used by bad players. It also can be used by good players. There's a lot of good use cases for privacy. I should point out also that every new technology always gets filtered through the lens of fear. So the internet is the best example. I really remember quite well when the cover of Time magazine had this terror story about how children were unsafe on the internet and there were pedophiles, and pretty much that's what Cory Doctorow and probably others have referred to as the four horsemen of the apocalypse of internet, which is money laundering, child pornography, digital piracy, and terrorism. So those are the four things that when you have privacy and financial security in your finances, that's going to facilitate terrorists doing all kinds of terrible things. Well, the truth is, as we discovered from the WikiLeaks saga, that when WikiLeaks started doing journalism that was uncomfortable for the United States government, they made a few phone calls, and pretty soon Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal cut them off of the global financial system. So Assange tweeted at the time, Julian Assange from WikiLeaks, he said, "We've now learned that Visa and MasterCard are agents of U.S. foreign policy. We did not know that before." It was a very educational thing for him to point out, and we all know that, and that's one of the reasons so many people are enthused by cryptocurrency, because crypto decentralizes all of the financial player. So there's no financial middleman, there's no banks, there's no governments. It's transnational, financial system, all that stuff. So Verge is a privacy coin. It's designed specifically for privacy, based on the belief that separation of commerce and state is an important right, a fundamental right, and we'll start to recognize that just as important as separation of church and state. So Verge announced a few weeks back that they had a very high-level partnership. It was going to be a huge partnership that they were going to have, and they needed to raise money quickly to make it happen, based on just trust in Sunarok, which is Justin Vendetta, the lead developer. A lot of people said, we believe this is real. I saw a long podcast with him. I do want to take a little bit of credit. I actually announced immediately to my friend, I didn't really publicize this, but I knew immediately who this partnership was with, or I guessed. Because they said it's a partnership with a huge international company that has top 10 websites and vast websites and does a lot of payment processing, and it's going to be huge. And I said to my friend, it's got to be porn, which it is. I'll tip the lead. It's actually a partnership with Pornhub, actually probably with MindGeek, which is the company that owns Pornhub and many, many other porn sites. But the reason I came up with this conclusion, told my friend about it, can't prove it unless he wants to speak out, but is because privacy coin like this, no large international monetary system like a bank would ever use a privacy coin, because then they're just asking for trouble from governments, whatever government, whatever country they're in. If they say, we're going to now do things so that the government can't monitor our financial transactions, you're just going to have to trust us to report what we do, they're going to get in trouble for that. The only ones who can get away with that is a porn company, because porn can say, we need privacy because our customers want privacy. It makes sense. People don't want porn charges on their credit cards. They want to be able to pay with an untraceable cryptocurrency for pornographic services. So it made perfect sense. And I said, if it's going to be someone that big, it's got to be MindGeek. I didn't know the name MindGeek. I knew about MindGeek, which is now the name of this holding company that owns most of the major porn sites on the internet, including Pornhub and lots of other ones that you probably are familiar with. All of you guys watching probably know every single one of them. But I knew all about this one because I listened to Jon Ronson's podcast. Jon Ronson is a very interesting English journalist and had a whole podcast series called The Butterfly Effect, all about this young German guy who managed to buy up all these sites right kind of at the beginning of the internet when piracy was happening to porn and all the porn companies were panicking, and they sold all these porn companies really cheap, and he bought them all up, and he later sold the company, and that company became MindGeek. So I knew all about this one giant holding company. I said, I bet it's that company. That's the perfect use case for a privacy coin, and it's a stealth use case. Because once you get it in, and you have now hundreds of millions of people using these various sites all around the world, that's a way to get cryptocurrency into the more mainstream adoption, because porn always leads the way. Not only VHS and DVDs and all that, but all new technologies, the porn industry usually is one of the first users of these industries. Porn VR is another one, virtual reality. So I said, I bet it's porn. No one else is going to want to use a privacy coin, but this is perfect, and Verge is a great coin. And they announced it today at 7 a.m. They said, we have a deal with Pornhub. So yay, Verge. So I hope this works out. It's going to be a really major step in hopefully bringing financial privacy, but also just increasing the usage and adoption of cryptocurrencies in general, because they really do offer us the possibility of having a financial system that is outside the control of banks, outside the control of national and sovereign governments, and it's global. So Pornhub, if you decide to use it, please get some Verge and use that so that you can start the Verge and cryptocurrency ball rolling. In the meantime, I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.